Well, let's get our bearings. Where are we? We're in Murchison Gym, Westmont College, Santa Barbara, California, United States of America, Western Hemisphere, planet Earth, solar system, Milky Way galaxy, universe, creation, the mind of God. That's similar to the way Emily signed her textbooks in Thornton Wilder's wonderful play, Our Town. It's also very close to what the Apostle Paul said to the Athenian philosophers on Mars Hill. He quoted one of their poets, the Greek poet Epimenides from the 7th century, who said, and I quote, "For in him, God, we live and move and have our being." Now this is a given. It's just the way things are, like it or not. You can ignore it, and I often do, but it will not cease to be true that all you have and I have comes from God. My life, my breath, my very being, it's all on loan. I can like it or not, I can choose it or not, or I can embrace it, which is what we want to do at Westmont. That's what Christians for centuries have called living coram Deo. That's Latin for before the face of God. It means to live one's entire life in the presence of God, to the glory of God, under the authority of God. It's the idea behind my favorite blessing or benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you. See, the face of the king meant that the king was looking at you with approval, with warmth, with intimacy. And that's the goal of life. That's the fulfillment of all our desires. David writes in Psalm 17, he says, "I in righteousness will see your face. When I awake, I will be satisfied with seeing your likeness." In another place, David said, "One thing I ask of the Lord, just this, one thing, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple." So sure, God sees everything. But does he like what he sees? And that's both a comforting and sobering question. Maybe you know the story of the Egyptian slave girl who was put out of Abraham's house, rejected, scorned, and she's going to die in the desert, but God rescues her, and she gives God a kind of new name. She says, "You are the God who sees me." Who sees me. That was comforting. It's Jesus saying a sparrow doesn't fall to the ground without the will of the Father in heaven. Our hairs are numbered. He, in the Heidelberg Catechism, watches over me in such a way that not a hair can fall from my head without the will of my Father in heaven. In fact, all things must work together for my salvation. It's comforting, but it's also sobering. Psalm 11. The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord is on his heavenly throne. He observes everyone on earth. His eyes examine them. The Lord examines the righteous, but the wicked, those who love violence, he hates with a passion. Coram Deo. It's the grand idea behind a Christian liberal arts education. It means to live for the glory of God, to live with integrity. There's no compartmentalizing. There's nothing hidden. There's no inside or outside with God. It's all outside to him. It means to live knowing you will be called upon to give an account to God at the end of your life. Everything we do is before his face. So that's where we are, before God. Who is here? Well, we're here, obviously. But you need to know that the Bible has a much bigger definition of we than we normally think of. In the Bible, the unseen includes the we. It's larger, it's more lasting, it's more powerful than what we see. The Bible says we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. According to Hebrews 12, when we worship, as we've just begun, we enter into a scene that is something like the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day times a billion. There's a worship going on in the realm of the unseen. It's exuberant, it's majestic, it's noisy, it's the mother of all worship services. Later on in the 12th chapter of Hebrews, The writer says, you've come to Mount Zion, to the heavenly Jerusalem, the city of the living God. You have come to thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly, to the church of the firstborn, whose names are written in heaven. So when we worship, we participate in what the Apostles' Creed calls the communion of saints. We stand now, or sit now, before the throne of God in the presence of all who belong to Him, past, present, and future. Peter Kraft, a philosopher at Boston College, says, God is the eternal contemporary. There is no past with God. It's all now. And Abraham and Isaac and Jacob are as alive to God as we are. They're really with us in His presence, along with Moses and Peter and Paul and J.S. Bach and Luther and Augustine and Aquinas and my mom and dad, and yours if they're gone. We're with them. They're with us. And one of the things that can go wrong in worship is there's too much me in it and enough we. And so the big idea, the reality of what we do when we come to chapel is that we don't start the worship. We join the worship, become a part of it. A theologian in the last century and also a great writer on prayer, a great writer of prayers, is John Bailey. And he has a wonderful prayer. I'm going to share part of it with you. He thanks God that we're never alone, and he says that we travel a road beaten hard by the footsteps of saints, apostles, prophets, and martyrs. And he prayed, I thank thee for the many spiritual presences with which I shall today be surrounded as I go about my work. For the heavenly host above, for the saints who rest from their labors, for patriarchs, prophets, and apostles. I rejoice, O God, that thou hast called me to be a member of the church of Christ. Let the consciousness of this holy fellowship follow me whithersoever I go. Great old word. Cheering me in loneliness, protecting me in company, strengthening me against temptation, and encouraging me to do all just and honorable deeds. That's a prayer about us, but the us is always bigger than what we see. So who's here? Oh, we are. But the we is so much more than a student body and faculty and staff. It's Christ's body that's gathered here right now. Which means Jesus is here. The God in whom we live and move and have our being, who sees us, whose face we long to have shine upon us, has come. And sometimes it helps me to get my imagination around this and just picture, what if Jesus walked in this room right now, just down that aisle? Now, we don't know what he looked like. But he probably, in his flesh, he probably looked like something like a Palestinian Jew in the first century. But he walked in. We've never seen him, but we know it's him. How would that affect how we participate? Well, I think it would just marvelously focus our minds. It would be an occasion for wonder. And there's a real sense in which faith right now we exercise with some imagination because we can't see the unseen. But we know that the unseen is what will last. It's what will finally be revealed as what was permanent in the first place. So yeah, we're here with all God's people in the unseen realms, and Jesus is here because his body is here. He has promised to be wherever 2 or 3 have gathered in his name. And we certainly meet the quota this morning, don't we? So it's been our custom to come to a table once in a while in chapel, and certainly in the first part of the year, because Jesus is here and he set a table and he said, gather and remember me by coming to this meal. The bread, he said, this is my body broken for you. Eat this in my memory. When he'd finished supper that last night before the cross, he took the cup and blessed it, and he said, this cup is the new covenant in the blood of the new covenant. This is the blood that is poured out for the forgiveness of sins. Drink this in my memory. And again, this